There we go. I'll give you this mic, buddy. Whoop. Sorry, Pino. You dropped the mic at the end. That's how you got the tie on, you got everything.
Yes, mate, I'm all pumped, I'm all primed.
You are excited. Tell us about your history with Daniel.
Look, Daniel, to give you an idea, guys, Daniel used to sleep at my house at 5 years of age. Grace used to come and pick him up, and Daniel used to go hiding. Like, he didn't want to go home. And when Jason went to Daniel's house, it was vice versa. But he has grown to a superstar, a legend, a people's person. And that's what's important. But let me tell you something now. You people out there in Europe would be paying €2,000 a seat to see a superstar. Hey, give it up for Daniel Ricciardo.
And you forgot to say that you taught him all he knows about driving, is that right? It was you? You're the man?
Nah, he's got some good grassroots, which
Mate, I don't care about them. You did it, Pino.
I'm going to talk about that, but he's got some good grassroots, but this is going to be a people's... What people want to know about Daniel, that's what my interview is about. And I'm a people's person, and I'm proud to be Italian, and I'm proud of my heritage. Hey, I used to live on the corner here, so I've been around here a long time.
All right. Well, let's get him up. Now we'll get off the stage and get out of the way. Daniel Ricciardo, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, please.
About to be interviewed by Pino Priolo. Anything can happen here. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but...
Barrow, while Daniel's coming up, please, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Joe Radici and his committee for what they have done to bring Daniel Ricciardo to Fitzgerald Street, Perth, Western Australia. What a legend, eh? Hey, give it up, guys. Daniel, you're backseat at the moment because I haven't finished with you yet. Just wait a sec. Hey, guys, what about Adrian Barish? Hey, what a great job. Hey, Barrow, I must tell you, Pino Priolo, had the opportunity of working with Channel 7. I only knew that. Back in my day, I raced sprint cars. I had a serious accident. I broke 3 vertebrae in my back. So everyone, But some good did come out of it because I had the opportunity to work with Dave Christensen, Con Migro on Night Thunder. And it's a lot of good come out of it. You know, I've got a lot of experience on PR speaking and so forth. And I still think to this day, my career was short-lived because of my name. Could you imagine? And tonight with the latest in sport is Pino Priolo. It wasn't going to happen. So I still think that Basil Zeppler's got the job because of my name. But Adrian, what a great job tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome for a personal heart-to-heart with Daniel Ricciardo, the legend of the sport, world-class Daniel. Daniel, take a seat.
There's no journalists here, is there?
No, that's it. Hey, I might get the job. Daniel, I mean, wow, man, 21 races. You're just burnt out. I mean, with Uncle Leo and Auntie Sharon, we picked you up tonight, and you're just absolutely burnt out. Like, where was this? Where did it take its toll? Like, when did you say, I don't want to do this anymore?
I always want to do it, but as I was saying before, it was sort of like Brazil. Sort of by sort of early November, you start to realise how long the season is. But it's more sort of what happens away from the racetrack as well. So if we're not racing one weekend, we're out somewhere else in another country doing a media appearance for the team or something. So it's more the travelling and all the flying and then the time zones, and you know, you're in a hot climate, then the day after you're in a cold climate, then back to a hot climate, and your body actually just gets really kind of broken down. So but yeah, it's all good. You touched on obviously growing up. It's true. The Pino wasn't exaggerating. We did. I used to hide when mum would come. We were just kids, always playing in the backyard. So We didn't have iPads or any of that shit back in those days, so it was good fun.
Daniel, I must ask you, like at the age of 9 you started with go-karts, and you started with my kids and so forth, and you went to Europe, you went to Asia. I mean, you've done the whole lot. And Dad, like, with a lot of good Italian people, supported you. I mean, there must have been some rocky roads there. Like when you said, it must have been hard. There must have been some waves where you said, you know, it's not all working out, like it's not happening. Please explain.
Yeah, I think you know, with any, I'm sure all of you guys, whether it's sport or business, everyone has their moments in their path, I guess, where you got a few challenges or whatever. You know, for me, there wasn't really anything which was, let's say, which really, I don't know, a big sort of moment or one that really stands out, I guess. But you know, probably the biggest thing was making that commitment to go to Europe. As you said, you know, we had the family and a lot of good family friends. I think that's actually probably one thing which is really great about let's say the Italian background is, you know, a lot of the Italians, the families and your friends you grow up with, you stay very close. So you've always got a good network of support. And yeah, we had that, you know, when Dad sort of told some of his mates that, you know, I wanted to go to Europe and sort of chase my dream, then a few of them, you know, were more than happy to help and support. And it meant a little bit of a financial support at that time, but that obviously helped me get over the line with the first year. And for me, it put pressure on me because I was like, okay, then not only my family now, but there's a few other families who are sort of put into this, and you know, I sort of wanted to make it work. So yeah, leaving home was the biggest thing because I knew that was real. Like it was no more mucking around. So yeah.
And your early days, I'm sure.
Pre-puberty. Yeah.
Johnny Nastas, and we used to have a joke about that. Remember, Johnny? How are you?
Johnny's here. I saw Johnny
Yes.
earlier, and yeah. So it's cool, you know. Like you start obviously with go karting, and John Nastas started me off when we raced, and you know we were watching you race. I remember me and your boys, Jason and that were, you know, running around the speedway track as kids, and then got into go karting. Started out with John, and I don't know, at first it was fun, you know, and then it obviously turns into a career path, but I think that's the main thing. Obviously there's a few young kids here, one's asleep, but I don't blame him, I would be as well, but no, just kidding. But you know, I think the important thing is do something, there's not many young people, but anyway, do something you love doing. I think that's the primary purpose, and I think it's a lot easier to then be successful at that. And even for the more middle-aged people here, if you're not doing something you love, then, I don't know, do something about it, change it.
Daniel, I must ask you, the physical aspect on getting into a Formula One. Now, most people on a Sunday night, 10 o'clock, they turn the TV on, they see Daniel Carter going around the track. But seriously, the preparation and the dedication and the hard work that goes into it prior to the race just gives these people the insight on what really happens.
Yeah, it's a lot more physical than I think it looks. Obviously on TV, the thing is, a lot of people. I used to get, you know, crap at school because I was like, I race cars or whatever, and all the kids were like, yeah, well, we drive to car, you know, we drive cars to school or whatever. So what's so hard about it? But you know, it's all obviously the cars are quick, so it already takes a lot of concentration from you, but very fast, and the corner speeds we go, you get a lot of G-forces and a lot of strain on your body basically. So it's hard now to get solid weeks of training in without commitments, but if we've got like a 7-day period without any travel, any whatever, we'll be in the gym some form of physical training 6 days out of those 7.
I must ask you, when you were with Toro Rosso in the day, and when you were getting timed into, you actually had a wristband. Is that correct on your, and they used to monitor your heart rate, how much you trained.
Yep.
Is that correct? Like, I mean, this is what people want to know. Like, this is astounding what really makes a Formula One driver. Am I right or not, Daniel?
Yeah, it was, in the early days, you get a lot of, try and get as much information and data as possible on you. So yeah, would race with, you know, the heart rate belts would have some other sensors on us. like measure all your sweat,
Yeah.
all your loss and all that, get your lactic acid, and
Yeah,
so
sure.
you try and build up a lot of knowledge. And
So if you had sex, would they know about it?
I took it off. I took it off during that.
Oh, you took it off? Oh, that's
That-
fabulous.
not because, I mean, it's good. I guess it's normally good training, but it's always too late at night. So they're like, you should have been sleeping. So
Yeah. Daniel, I must ask you, Joe Ricciardo, your father, and please, if we can take a moment, Joe's actually in hospital at the moment, unfortunately can't be with us tonight. Just nothing serious, but just undergoing some tests, and I'm
I
sure...
put him under a lot of stress.
Yeah, exactly. But our thoughts are with him and our prayers are with him as well, and I'm sure he'll pull through. He's just a great, fabulous person. Back in the 70s and 80s, Dad was a fabulous race driver, and I'm sure you got your grassroots from him. And I can remember back in the 70s and 80s where Dad was competing, fairly competitive, with Tony and Basil, yeah. And they went to Adelaide, and I can remember Tony organising a function with Dallas, the band Dallas. Everyone remember the band Dallas? Yeah. At the Mount Hawthorn Community Centre to raise money for Dad to go to Adelaide. How times have changed. You know, I mean, you fly around in a Learjet now, like, it's amazing. But what the question I'm going to ask, if we were to put Joe Ricciardo and Daniel Ricciardo in a race car, a Ferrari or a Commodore or a Ford or whatever, who would win?
Nowadays, me. 10, 12 years ago, he would have got me. But yeah, I got him covered now.
Yeah, that's great. Let's talk a bit about Rossi. I mean, what a legend, and I'm sure he's on your favourites. He's on, you know, you keep contact with him. His pre-race, what he does pre-race, and everyone sees it on TV. Obviously, he does his stretches. He grabs the foot peg. He does his stretches and goes down the straight. And what does he do?
Pick out a wedgie.
Pick out a wedgie. Obviously, you must have some pre-race rituals. What you do? I mean, it must be something. I know I do. And my wife knows it because she knows, she passes all my equipment to me. She'll pass me my harness device, my helmet, and she always gives me my right glove. And I did our Hail Father, the Hail Mary, the sign of the cross, and so I go, but what does Daniel Ricciardo do before a race? Every race, there must be something there.
Go to the toilet. I've never been, I honestly never been superstitious or anything, so there's nothing I do as a sort of ritual / superstition point of view. Mum used to make me, when I was karting, wear red underwear. She just thought red was lucky. So I wore red underwear for probably a year until I crashed. And then I was like, that's not working. But I don't know, we have a routine, you know, you warm up and whatever, but I've never really been superstitious, so yeah, just nothing, unfortunately. No interesting story there.
Daniel, you have a personal trainer that is actually from Australia, is that correct?
Yep.
Now, I know before the race, and I know inside information because I follow you, like, I know what's going on. And before a race, you either do skipping, kick a football, kick a soccer ball, you'll throw a tennis ball. Is that correct? Like, what actually happens prior to a race?
Yeah, we get about, so the race day is busy. You know, there's a lot of commitment. Then normally that's where you get a lot of guests coming on the Sunday to see the race. So there's a lot of meet and greets and whatnot. So you don't get much time before the race to yourself. But we always get like the 1 hour before the race, which is always to ourselves. So if the race is at 1 o'clock, I'm in my room, in my sort of driver's room. I'll be starting off just doing some stretching. My trainer will help me with some stretching, and then we get into a bit of warm up, and sort of the music goes with what we're doing. So when I'm stretching, I'm lying there. It's pretty relaxed. So we'll have sort of some easier going music on, and then I'll start getting a bit more active and get the heart rate going and the muscles a bit more warm. and the music sort of changes, and then yeah, we'll start doing some skipping or some things for just hand-eye coordination. And you don't want to do too much either, because you've got 1.5, 2 hour race ahead of you, so you don't want to burn yourself out, but you just want to make sure you're receptive and sort of switched on.
David, do you like my tie?
Oh shit, I didn't even notice.
It's actually a spark plug. How's that, eh?
Holy shit, that's pretty cool.
Do you know that I'm Kathy's? I'm Kathy's tool in her life. I'm actually my wife's tool, and I actually put a spark in her life.
Wow, that's emotional.
You like this tie, don't you, Daniel?
Kathy's now hiding. Yeah.
Daniel,
good thing they're at the back.
Daniel, I must ask you, Monaco. I mean, Barrow touched on it, but as a race car driver, I mean, hey, you had your heart torn out, like seriously, and I think as a race car driver and as a professional sport, you handled yourself like unbelievably. Like the kid has just been a chance to winning the biggest race in Formula One. And on the radio, Daniel has said, simply, we'll talk about it later. Mate, that is just so professional. Whereas Max Verstappen says, well, you think I come here to come fourth? And that is the difference between yourself and Max Verstappen. And hey, Max Verstappen might be a great race car driver, but to me, he's not a people's person. Daniel, I've got to take my hat off to you. You are a people's person. What you done on that particular race, hey, was unbelievable. I think, hey, and you even said it, like you got run over by adding wheel truck and all that, but what you done was just amazing. It really and truly. The good thing about it is, because when you went home, it was only around the corner.
Yeah.
So you looked at the walls, yeah. Take us through that, mate. I mean, that must have, put it this way, if Wolf had rung you and says, hey, come and drive for me, would you have gone?
On that day, probably, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right.
You're emotional. I think it's, yeah, you shouldn't make emotional decisions. That's probably a good lesson tonight, actually. But not that I did. But yeah, look, it's one of those ones. But you sort of look at perspective again, and it was. I look back, I was like, yeah, it was the worst racing day of my career. But at the same time, I still finished second in Monaco. Like I could have won. I did everything I could, so it was out of my hands, and so it wasn't actually really a bad day. It was a perfect weekend up until a team error. But I could still get home that night, and as disappointed as I was, forget the cliche, or sorry, excuse the cliche, but I could look in the mirror and still be happy with myself and where I was. So, and fortunately, I had some friends there, and they weren't going to let me sulk all night. So we actually got pretty smashed that night, which helped.
Actually, getting smashed there, I must say, I had the opportunity to be to one of the greatest races. I thought that you had won, and I was there with Uncle Leo and Auntie Sharon, Kathy, Joe DeLucio, Carlo, and you saw us in the stands, and it was amazing. Like, you actually brought a tear to my eye. What you done on that day was unbelievable. But yeah, you said that winning Monaco, or Monaco, depending on which side of the country you live on, Europe or here, you said that was your greatest thrill of the year.
The pole in Monaco, yeah. The win in Malaysia was like that. To have that joy, I think that was the biggest joy. But from a personal sort of achievement side, I think the pole position in Monaco was, because Monaco's Monaco. You know that even if you don't have the best car there, you can make that little bit of a difference. And I honestly believe Mercedes had the best car at every track all year. So for me to steal a pole position from them on a real driver's track was sort of like, yeah, beat that, Nico and Lewis.
That's good. Actually, speaking of the Malaysian Grand Prix, yeah, give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. I had the privilege of being there with Uncle Lee and Auntie Sharon and all that, and you were on the podium doing your shoe and all that, and I was on the phone to your dad, and it was just amazing. But I must tell you, you need to give Uncle Leo $200. Can you afford it?
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you the story. We were on the way out to the racetrack, coming from the hotel, and Leo turned to VJ, who was our driver, and said, VJ, which by then he knew because Leo already dropped the line, who's our Daniel's uncle, said, if Leo wins, I'm going to double your fare. And sure enough, he did.
Daniel wins.
And Daniel wins. And Daniel won. And Leo had to pay. But it come with a price, and I'm just going to interrupt you before you talk, because we were supposed to catch up for dinner on the Saturday night, and you got held up with, obviously at the racetrack, with your engineers. So we, on the night that you won, we actually went back to your hotel. Did you check your room, how much you spent? Because we actually went back to your hotel, and even though you didn't show up, we were there with Jensen Button at your poolside, and we had all these fabulous drinks, but it was amazing. So check your card.
It's alright. Red Bull will cover all the hotels, so it's alright. Buy what you want. Yeah, fortunately I do get a little win bonus, so I'll pay you $200 back, Uncle Leo. No worries. The win bonus is a bit more than $200, so I can afford it. 300, it's fine.
Oh, that's great. I know Barrow touched on the shoeing, but you had Jared Butler, and you had a lot of, Mark Webber and all that at your palm, drinking out of your shoe. And you had Jared Butler, who's a star and a movie star, actually drink out of your shoe. I mean, that must have been amazing.
Not for him. I got
But
him.
what's more importantly, and he actually signed your shoe.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. Yeah.
And Daniel, I know the kids have gone to bed now, what did he actually sign?
So afterwards, we had a photo and we had a bit of a laugh, and he actually thought it was a new shoe. Like he thought, yeah, we get new shoes for the podium. And he was convinced it wasn't the shoe I raced with. And I started pissing myself, and he looked at me. I was like, mate, when do you think I had time to change my shoe? Like, I got out of the car, we came straight here, and he didn't believe me. I said, it's the shoe, it's sweaty as shit, it's the shoe. And so I go, and we had a laugh, and then I stole a pen, and I said, would you mind signing it? And anyway, so I see him squiggle, and then he writes above it, fuck you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that one's that's a good one. I'll hang that up somewhere. And I've honestly been intending to sign the other one, the one he didn't drink from at least, and give it to him as a gift. But yeah, we'll see. Anyway,
Daniel, just before we go on with this interview, all I want to say is, I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because to come here and do a show for these 400 people and to just speak freely, and I know you're tired because I actually picked you up with Uncle Leo and Auntie Sharon and Kathy, and you're actually spared. Like, you've had 3 hours sleep, and you said, I'll just do my, but I'll tell you, hey, give him a round of applause later, because this guy is just absolutely spared. I mean, he is burnt out. Daniel, we really, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, seriously, just fabulous. Daniel, I've been told to wrap it up. You really?
everyone wants dessert. Oh, dessert's happening. No, all right. Everyone wants to go.
How you going, Daniel? You good?
All right.
All right, well, we're going to finish off quickly, and I've just got some quick questions for you. And we can stop the clock and talk about this any time. Daniel, your favourite movie or TV show?
Friday Night Lights is a favourite movie. Yeah.
Beautiful. What is the most interesting thing in your bag or your wallet?
Cash.
Cash.
My iPod. I can't live without music, so my iPod. And I've still got an old one. It's like more than 10 years old, so yeah, that's my one.
Yeah, beautiful. Lewis or Nico?
Neither.
Vettel or Max?
Neither. No, as teammates go, they're both different, but I would say Max is quicker. So yeah, I'm enjoying the challenge of Max.
Will Max get a Christmas card from you?
I don't really give out Christmas cards. He's alright. We had a Christmas party last week with the team, and we actually went together, and not as a date, but we went there together, and we had a couple of drinks before we got there, and he's alright. He's alright for now.
Blondes or brunettes? Or both?
Yeah. Pretty girls are pretty girls, so yeah, that's that.
What's your best pickup line? Is it pretty big but down under?
I don't mention anything about Formula One driver, so yeah. No sort of job dropping. No. Some other job.
Mum's cooking or Nonna's cooking?
Yeah, Nonna's.
Nonna's
is good. Nonna's is great.
Have you ever been told you look like someone famous?
Adam Sandler. Several people have said I look like Adam Sandler. I think it's sort of the nose, maybe. I don't know. He's got a kind of big nose as well. So.
Favourite cartoon character?
I don't really watch cartoons. Peter Griffin, Family Guy. Yeah.
If you're on a stranded island, what would the one thing that you would bring?
A girl. Well, a lady.
Beautiful.
Legal.
Daniel, what would you have become if you were not a Formula One driver?
Say the wrong thing.
Yeah, I love sports, so something with the competition. I love competition. So tennis, I loved as a kid, so probably tennis. But just quick on that, Peter Crouch. I don't know if he's followed soccer, but big, tall, played for England and whatever. I think he got asked in an interview, "What would you be if you weren't a football player?" And he said, "A virgin." Yeah, I thought that was an awesome answer. He's not the best looking guy, so he was honest.
Love it. Your favourite MotoGP rider?
Yeah, Rossi. Yeah, been a big fan of Rossi for a very long time.
Now I'm going to stop the clock. Now you actually on hook up with him, like he messages you when you go well and stuff, yeah?
There's a bit of social media has its goods and bads. The goods are you can connect with people, and so yeah, I've been in touch with Rossi several times on that, and yeah, I mean he even to the point where he even did a shoey when he got a podium in Italy, and he even said the same sort of thing. He said everyone loves a shoey, which was one thing I wrote when I did mine, and then he tagged me in it and stuff. So it's pretty cool, but I'd like to obviously spend some real time with him and just sort of see him away from a racetrack and get to know him. Obviously, he's a pretty interesting character, but yeah, even the fact when he first ever wrote to me, I was like, yeah, pretty overwhelmed. I was following him since I was 8, 9 years old.
And the final question, which everyone is waiting for: Sicilian or Calabrese?
Australian, mate.
Well, Daniel, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been an honour to do what I've done. I hope everyone enjoyed my interview with Daniel Ricciardo. It's more of a people's thing and what people want to know. But Daniel, thank you. God bless you, and may you be a world champion one day, which I know you are going to be a world champion. Thank you.
Well said. Pino Priolo, ladies and gentlemen. He might take my job at Channel 7. Good job, mate. And Daniel Ricciardo. Another big round of applause for Pino. And he's offside. Fantastic. Hey, Pino, that was really good. Really good, mate. Really appreciate it. So thank you. Hey, we're going to do the business card draw while we've got Daniel up here, because it is getting late, and of course this is for this. Sal's got this wonderful piece here, being signed by Daniel. I believe it's come from Heroes Framing and Memorabilia from Guy Mead, and Joe Radich. So good on you, Joe. And we will put the glass in that later on as well. so Joe, who have you got, mate? There's a mic there. Just grab that one, and you can tell us who the winner is.
Yeah, it's one of our regular sponsors, good sponsors. It's from PK.